Gbadebo of the Labour Party really fired the incumbent governor, talking about Babajide Sanwo-Olu. That was a very, very tight race in Lagos. At the end of the day, Sanwo-Olu scrambled, to retain its position. Got it. It's like someone getting or taking back its lost glory. Now let's quickly run through the results of some of the states. I won't guarantee you that we'll be reading everything right here in the studio. In Yobe State, we have APC leading with 317,133 and PDP with 104.25. Ogun State, APC, that's the Adakwa Abiodun. It was also a tight race in Ogun State. Very, very tight race there. Ogun State, APC 266,298, with PDP having 262,383. Quickly to Oyo State, where we have Governor Seyi Makinde, also a very, very strong one there. We have PDP leading with 562,756, and APC with APC with 256,685. Now, quickly to Lagos State, which will be the last one we're talking about right here in the studio before we move down to the guests we have. Lagos State with APC 762,134, Labour Party 312,329. Babajide Sanwo-Olu led the governorship election in Lagos State. Ajenifuja, you're welcome back.
Well, yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, why I said you're welcome back is because before the election, you were in the studio. Before the presidential election, you were in the studio. Also, the governorship election, you were also in the studio. And you, I won't say you predicted, you said it wholeheartedly, so boldly that Governor Sanwo-Olu would emerge winner of the governorship election in Lagos State. And at the end of the day, he became the winner. Of course, it was a tight race. Wrote Viva of the Labour Party contesting, let me say, battling with the incumbent power. I'm talking about Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Now, how do you feel about the victory of Babajide Sanwo-Olu?
Well, to the glory of God, as a member of APC, all I have to say is thank you, Lord, for giving us that opportunity to promote, protect, preserve our heritage in Lagos. But first and foremost, I would like to say a big congratulations to the Lagosians and the progressive for coming out en masse to ensure that our cultural value and heritage is being defended, to sound a note of warning to everybody, inclusive the political class, that our liberality in Lagos should not be taken for granted. And I know with this, our governor, Mr. Selebu, will not take the election, the victory with levity. As you can see, a rollout dividends of democracy to the civil servant commenced immediately with a 20% increase in their salary. It was announced immediately after the election was announced. But before we go further, I would like to say this to the Muslim brothers all over the world, that as we are looking forward to welcome the holy month of Ramadan, I wish them successful Ramadan program, and our beloved Christian that is already on their Lent program too. They started well. We wish them to end it in good faith. But we should also use that avenue to join our synergy together, that we have no reasons to fight ourselves, mindless of our religion, ethnicity, or divergence environment. We find ourselves, we must live together as one, because in the Bible, in the Holy Quran, it is said that you should be your brother's keeper. And even God said it clearly that thou shalt not judge. Do not fight for me. I can fight for myself. So let us use this opportunity of this holy month to preach oneness among us, mindless of our political affiliations or our cultural background or ethnic background.
Now, before you go further, you made mention of Sanwo-Olu increasing salary, workers' salaries
20%.
20% by 20%. I watched Jandor on Channels TV, if I'm not mistaken, Channels TV, where he talked about paying Lagosians or workers 60%, 60,000 naira or so. Now, why is it now Sanwo-Olu is doing this? I thought
he will wear the shoes, no wear the shoe pinches.
But he should have done this before.
Omode yo mela, olohun mela kata kata. You can use anything to cajole for election, to canvass for election. But when it comes to the practicality of that political statement, it becomes so difficult.
Will you call this a compensation for the voters that came out?
No. This has been on the pipeline.
On the pipeline.
It's just about a promise made, that promise kept. You know, the governor has promised them that we will look at the welfareism of our civil servants, public servants in Lagos. That has been in progress. It was just a coincidence that after the election, you know, before you can increase, there are so many rudiments you have to go through. The calculation of what are the internally generated revenue, what is the IGR capacity of Lagos, before you can now talk about increment in salary of workers. So that is why it takes a little bit. There is a process in everything. Anybody can come online to say, I want to be governor of Lagos State. If you vote me, I will make sure I pay you 100,000 per month as your wages. It is possible to say that. But by the time the person gets to the office, that is the difference between the competence, experience of His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and all his contenders. You are contending with somebody who is also coming from a banking background. If you look at the lot of experience, how can you compare a bank manager to a mere photographer, and to the other person who claimed to be an architectural person who has not even shown us any building or any structure he has been able to erect in Lagos since he's been practicing his profession? To make research and talk in the ear is the most easiest thing. To criticize is the most easiest thing to do. Implement your criticism. We've seen so many that fails, haven't criticized the government on the other side. They give them opportunity, they fail woefully.
Now, whether we like it or not, it's a win for the APC in the states, despite the tightness of the race. Now, there were reports of violence, and other mishap in that election. The act of snatching boxes, that's ballot boxes, trying to intimidate voters, that wanted to exercise their franchise. Now,
my darling brother,
we discussed this in the last.
Yes, my darling brother.
I said there was nothing like that. And I told you specifically that I saw a video online where MC Oluomo was telling the Igbos to go back to their homes. That
Okay.
this polling unit, that polling unit was not meant for the Igbos. The same thing also surfaced in this election. What's your submission?
Well, I want to answer you that on a straight form. You see, information in life, we have two sides to a coin.
Okay.
And every information depends on how you view the information. You can show me 3, and I decide to view it as W. You can show me 8, and I decide to view it as a 00. Because I have said it here in your studio here, that you journalists, you are causing more havoc than information dissemination.
What havoc is?
Yes. You see,
it's been experienced there, because I don't understand.
Let me land.
What you mean by havoc?
You said okay. In your explanation here, okay. You said the election witnessed a violence round but in some areas.
Yeah, okay.
There is no election in the world
Is violence free or what?
that is violence free.
Okay.
That is number one. Because who committed the violence? Who started the violence? Violence cannot be made by one person, one entity. Somebody will initiate it. And because the side of the news you guys want to hear is nobody have been waiting. Nobody has come out to say this is what Labour Party did in Lagos. This is what Labour Party did in Abia. Now they won Abia, the election was free. PDP won Oyo State, election was free. Nobody called for the cancellation of Oyo State election because PDP retained the governorship election there. You only have questions for where the APC won election. Why? Because you felt they are the people in power. They must have rigged the election.
Don't forget that Lagos was a major focus in this election.
You will always focus Lagos because Lagos will always be the center of attraction for everybody, even the whole world, even the general observers that are coming. They troop into Lagos more than any state in Nigeria. We thank God that God has given us Lagos. And the people of Lagos have spoken that they value their culture, they value their heritage. Now we are happy that even our children that was blindfolded and some of the elites in Lagos who were blindfolded or cajoled or brainwashed came to realize their mistake before it was too late. That, well, there is politics, there is politicking. We should not vote according to the line of religion and our ethnicity background. We must look at what do we want for the state we live in, mindless of whichever place you came from.
Now, be sincere with yourself. Was the election free, fair, and credible? I'm talking about the one in Lagos State.
Are you going to ask?
Because
the one in Lagos?
You reside in Lagos State.
Yes, I know. I am not bothered.
Well,
I am not bothered because I know where you are coming from. Okay. And I know your question will always be, are we sure Lagos is free and fair? I throw it to you back that, are you sure Oyo State election is free and fair? In Lagos, to the glory of God, we did not hear that anybody died in Lagos. We only said some people were disenfranchised, some people were not allowed to vote. All this happened in Enugu and Abia. Nobody is reporting that. In Oyo State, we recorded casualties, over 2 or 3 people that got shot on the day of election. Ballot boxes were snatched in Oyo State. People were disenfranchised also in Enugu.
It seems you don't understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay, let me still wait for you.
I'm driving.
I am confirming to you that Lagos State election is free and fair. It is free and fair because you said it is a 2-horse race. And did you hear? And somebody gave us challenge that he can check the bottle.
And did you hear what he said?
What did he say? It is normal for anybody that lost election. When Joshua was defeated in the first time by a Mexican, he said, this atmosphere, I sense there is a drug there that my body has been tampered with before I get into the ring, but I felt my body resistance can do it. But he was defeated. When Tyson was knocked out, he bites his opponent. Definitely every loser must give reasons to his supporters why he lost the election. Even the election conducted during our father, President Obasanjo's regime, he himself came out that most elections in the world can never be free and fair. And that it is, I don't know why Nigerians forget things so easily. If you go to that interview, you will hear Obasanjo telling the world that the election was free and fair, that every loser will always complain that one thing went wrong. So for a road driver to say the election is not free and fair, has he forgotten? Ask him. Where did he campaign? Ask him. He was riding on the popularity of sentiments.
What sentiment?
What sentiment? The sentiment of saying the Igbo people in Lagos are more populous than the indigenous of Lagos. He was only working on the basis of, okay, I have people in Amuwo The people that reside in Amuwo, Ikotu Egbe, Axis, Aibo, Okota, Etiosa, those are the areas, Alimosho, those are the areas he concentrated on. He has forgotten that. Take, for example, the pride of Lagos, Lagos Island, where Oba Akinolu came from, and the ancestral home of the incoming president. If you go to that resort, you will see there is a landslide margin. Labour is about just 100 or 200. PDP is nowhere to be found. So, are you saying if I win 5 local government out of 20 local government, does that make me feel I can become a governor in Lagos State? We have 20 local government accepted by the federal government. Not minding the fact that in Lagos State, the giraffe, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, made Lagos State become 57 local government. We have 20 local government and 37 LCDAs. Some are indigenous. Whether you like it or not, if you are non-indigenous, if you stay in those areas, you cannot dictate what will happen there. I told you that the Lagosians came out to vote to promote, preserve, protect their heritage. They did not vote according to party lines. They voted because they felt we must vote for experience, we must vote for a greater Lagos, we must vote for that vision that is making Lagos becoming the real mega city. If you journalists are so sincere, you cannot expect me as a principal stakeholders in Lagos to see posterity coming towards my state if I really value the state and I want the progress of the state. I cannot say Sanwo-Olu should just go away. I haven't laid down the project. Let me now tell you what happened to Sanwo-Olu that will make you know he's a performer. The first phase of Sanwo-Olu becoming the governor of Lagos State was eaten away by COVID-19. He managed COVID-19 for almost 1 year.
But he wasn't the only governor that
I'm only telling you, he came into the office newly. He managed it for 1 year. After COVID-19, he managed NSAS for almost 6 months. That is about 1.5 years out of 4 years. After COVID-19, we have issue of ASU that is rocking all the university in Nigeria. He sustained all the state university in Lagos to ensure that that strike did not eat up the future of people schooling in Lagos. In LASU, do we have only the Lagosian schooling in LASU? No. But he was able to manage and make sure that ASU strike did not go up their time in LASU. If you are Mr. Selebu, who came into office and managed crisis for 2 years in the first part and was still able to do what he's been able to do, we should give him kudos. During the same, thank God that this last one, he was even managing it with election. We asked the cash crunch. And we have election coming. He must campaign. And at the same time, people are hungry that why must that policy be introduced during electioneering period? The hardship was so high. But he was able to succeed. We should give kudos to Mr. Performer. We should give kudos to Mr. Selebu, Mr. Train, whatever name we could call him. So I will now leave such a person who was able to manage the crisis rocking in him. He was supposed to use 2 years. He was in crisis for like 2.5 years of that 4 years. And he was able, his COVID-19 center is one of the best in Africa. Because they later start coming to learn how he was able to manage it. Now, so my brother, I cannot leave a Sanwo-Olu for somebody who thought coming to take Lagos is where he will train. That person, how many of them? Even Rose Vifor, he has not even, I don't know which of the association he has managed. Now we will now entrust such a person with the cosmopolitan Lagos.
Now, no,
it's not possible.
Don't you think
somebody who do not even value our language, who cannot speak our language fluently? Yeah, he cannot. How do you want to communicate with me? My mother's dialect is Yoruba, for crying out loud. I can speak Yoruba the way I'm speaking this borrowed language. I'm not even comfortable in the language. If you want me to take this interview in Yoruba, I know people will get my information properly because it is their mother's dialect. Are you saying if we have crisis in Ibejuleki, I'll go to Ibejuleki and be speaking grammar? If you have crisis in Allnews where they speak Awori, you will go to Allnews because it's a Igbo-dominated areas. You will now be speaking grammar. When our local women are there are men who cannot even speak the English fluently.
Now, I had
you must understand, if you go, you cannot become a prime minister in France if you cannot speak French. You cannot rule in a state in Germany if you cannot speak Dutch. What are you talking about?
No,
so our heritage must be protected. Though I'm not in the mood to argue with you today. I am celebrating victory.
Let's
so, but I will not take that because I'm celebrating